Hearing her mother's emotion, Doris was also very melancholic in her heart. In her heart, she was full of affection for Charlie. But unfortunately, she knew that she almost had no chance. The only thing that can be done is to work well in the Emgrand group and take the Emgrand group to a higher level, in order to return Charlie's kindness to her, and at the same time to relax her deep feelings for Charlie. When the mother saw the daughter being silent, of course, she felt very distressed. She gently took Doris's hand and said seriously, "Good girl, Mom used to urge you to get married earlier, but now, Mom understands that some things are wrong. It's difficult to get it done, so you will work and live according to your own ideas in the future, and Mom will no longer point fingers at your life and work." Simon on the side could not help but sigh. "Doris, your mother is right. We used to look at your own problems from the perspective of our thinking. This kind of perspective does lack respect for you and nosy in your own affairs. You are the master of your own destiny, your parents will never interfere again." When Doris heard this, she was grateful. There is always a lack of generation gap between children and their parents, and there are various misunderstandings that develop over a period of time. But in fact, this generation gap and misunderstanding arise not because of material things or money, but because of a lack of understanding between the two generations. Parents lack understanding of their children, and children do the same with their parents. Just like the current parents, most of them hope that their children can be admitted to a good university, find a decent and profitable job, and then settle down in a city as large as possible, and have a smooth life. But they never know, nor try to find what their children want. Maybe their children don't want to be admitted to a good university, they just want to pursue their hobbies. Maybe they don't want to make a lot of money in big cities, they just want to travel around the world with their own ideals. Maybe they don't want this life to be too smooth so that the smoothness is a little flat. Maybe they just hope to feel the magnificence of so many lives in their only one life. It's like, many times, parents will look for a partner with very good overall conditions for their children. In their eyes, the child can marry such an object, and it will be absolutely safe and carefree for a lifetime. However, children do not pursue stability and carefreeness at all as they thought. What they pursue is a vigorous and unforgettable love. This is why, all the great books on love in ancient and modern China and abroad, almost all have a tragic core of rebelling against their parents for love, and ultimately choosing to die in love. Romeo and Juliet in the West are such a story, and Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai in China are also the same. Therefore, this misunderstanding between parents and children is not a phenomenon unique to modern society but almost runs through the entire history of human development. Doris has always felt that her parents do not understand her enough, that they do not understand her ambitions, nor do they understand her feelings. They feel that she has no need to do her best for the work, and even they take it as a hurdle and delay in her private life. They also feel she should find a boyfriend who can understand all aspects as soon as possible, get married and have children as soon as possible, and settle in her life. Once upon a time, Doris felt distressed because of the urging of marriage at home. At that time, her greatest wish was for her parents to understand her one day. Unexpectedly, at this moment, this wish has finally come true. Thinking of this, Doris's eyes were flushed and her nose was sore that she almost burst into tears. In order to prevent her parents from crying, Doris hurriedly said to the two of them, "Dad and Mom, you two will wait for me for a while, I will go through the discharge procedures now, let's go home at the earliest." Just when Doris went through the discharge procedures for her father, Isaac and Orville had already captured Doris's American classmate, Walter Hogwitz, the eldest son of the American Hogwitz family, and all of his men as well. All of them were in the kennel. Orville, the kennel owner, not only raises the fighting dogs but also handles a lot of gray things. So from the time of construction, a lot of thought was spent on the building of this place. First of all, Orville's kennel farm was built in a relatively remote suburban area, which was originally large and sparsely populated. In order to further eliminate future problems, Orville also registered an agricultural technology company. All the cultivated land around a large factory was rented. Orville rented this cultivated land to cover the place from people's eyes and ears, so in order not to make people doubt, he also specially selected a section of cultivated land around this establishment for horse racing. In this way, the kennel is safer and it will not attract the attention of outsiders and law enforcers. Not only in the periphery, special attention is also paid to internal safety as well. Inside the kennel, the security equipment is the more complete, modern, and best one. The fence of the kennel does not seem to be high. From the outside, there is no mention of high-voltage power grids and tribulus. It does not seem to be a very important place. However, on the inside of the wall, there is a high-voltage power grid 1 meter wide across 90 degrees. For those locked in it, the high-voltage power grid is just above their heads, and it is impossible to climb up, so there is no way to escape. Inside the kennel, there is a huge row of kennels. These kennels are all steel-welded iron cages with only a very strong iron fence. The locks of each iron fence doors are not ordinary mechanical locks, but 3 solid lines of defense composed of mechanical locks, fingerprint locks, and remote electromagnetic locks. Therefore, whether it is a terribly lethal fighting dog or a martial arts master with very strong personal strength, if he or it is really locked in, there is basically no chance of escape. All of Walter's men were placed in one of the iron cages, while Walter enjoyed a very different treatment, and could enjoy a single iron cage. And the outside of this iron cage is connected with a set of equipment dedicated to dialysis. Because it is the iron cage, all kinds of pipelines can easily pass through without preventing Walter from receiving dialysis in the cage. At this time, Walter is being dragged into the iron cage by Orville's men like a dog. He is still yelling in despair. "You can't do this to me. I am the eldest son of the Hogwitz family. I'm the progeny of Rothschild, relative of the German family." A black-clothed man beside him snorted coldly and cursed. "What kind of shit you are, whatever that family is, in China, no foreign family has any place. You treat this place like your backyard. You come as you like, leave as you like? Who do you think you are?" Having said that, he grabbed Walter by the collar, broke open Walter's mouth forcefully, and poured a bottle of liquid directly into his mouth. Then, despite Walter's struggle, he directly covered his mouth and waited for him to take all the liquid medicine. "Swallow it, then let go." Walter coughed a few times and questioned in horror. What did you give me a drink?" Standing outside the cage, Isaac sneered and said, "Don't you like secretly poisoning others with mercury dichloride? Why can't you taste your favorite thing?"